Good morning. I'm having a purple green smoothie this morning. It's got 2 cups of greens in there. I haven't actually had one for a while, and I've been missing them, so decided to go ahead and make myself one this morning. I'm not showing my face on camera right now, even though it is 9:30. I'm not dressed. I don't have any makeup on. I'll show you what I have been doing. I have been canning. I ended up taking a bunch of those green San Marzano tomatoes that had turned red, and I made salsa. And so the salsa has, I'll link the recipe for you, but it has bell pepper, onions, cilantro, jalapenos, some salt, garlic, apple cider vinegar, and then it's kind of it's cooked for about 10 minutes. Then you put it through the, this is a water bath canning method, and so you need to follow the instructions carefully from a canning book. So the regular canning time, processing time is 15 minutes, but since my elevation where I live is just over 3,000 feet in elevation, I needed to increase the time by 10 minutes. So I am doing this for a total of 25 minutes. I have 13 minutes left to go. When it's finished, I will move them over to this towel I have here and then not touch them. Just leave them alone until tomorrow. There's my Ninja. I was going to say my NutriBullet. And leave them until tomorrow because they need to perfectly set so that they can be shelf stable. Then the salsa, when it's ready to use, you add some fresh ingredients to it. So you just add some more onions or some more green bell peppers, that kind of thing, just so you get a little bit of crunch and not everything soft, because this method, while it makes it shelf stable and it will taste really good, it's cooking it, so everything's going to get soft. Hey guys, it is, what day is it? Wednesday morning. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm on my way up to Flagstaff for a couple of things. And I'm driving the truck today. Normally, John and I decide who's driving the farthest, and then that person takes the hybrid. But even though I am driving the farthest today, I'm taking the truck because there are a few things that I am going to pick up from my mom today. So I'll tell you about that in just a second. But so I'm going up. I have several things to do. Our printer broke yesterday, so I'm going to get a new printer at Staples. I need to stop, this sounds so funny, and check the forest behind our old house because this is mushroom season, and there are a couple of kinds of mushrooms that John and I can safely identify and that are safe to eat. One of them is called a lobster mushroom, and the other one is called a bolete mushroom. A bolete is a lot like a porcini. It's in the porcini family, and I have seen them at our local grocery store, dehydrated, on sale, selling for $6 an ounce. Yeah. And so the conditions have to be just right. It has to be definitely moist. It has to, boletes only grow at the base of ponderosa pine trees, and those are in no short supply in Flagstaff. They actually grow underneath the pine needles, and so if they come up above the pine needles, then they are already bad, because usually they're yellow or a little bit tinged green underneath, and a lot of times insects have gotten to them at that point. So you have to actually just look for a tiny little mound under the pine needles and then dig under it, and then sometimes there's a bolete there, and sometimes it was just a rock or something. But so there will probably be tons of mushrooms up there in that area. Will they be the edible kind? It's just, they're so rare. Boletes are really rare, and so we one year had this bumper crop year, and then we went 5 years without finding any boletes at all. There's this other kind called lobster mushrooms that we pretty much find every year, but I'm not as crazy about the taste of lobster mushrooms. The boletes last summer were good, And we missed part of our window of harvesting them because we were in Europe for 2 weeks. And so we just did what we could when we got back. And so we actually got quite a lot. We probably, after dehydrating them, probably had a gallon bag filled with boletes. And so that, you know, you can imagine if they're $6 an ounce, you can imagine the value of that gallon bag. And then I'm going to my mom's house. She has 2 things that she's going to give to me. One is this rocking chair that's been sitting up in their attic. It is a rocking chair that my dad was rocked in as a baby. And she has since painted it, and so it was just like black with some little like gold trim on it, if I remember correctly. But then my mom painted it pink, I think. So I don't want a pink rocking chair. She knows that too. She doesn't want a pink rocking chair anymore. But I was thinking about painting it red, because I'm kind of doing that red sort of farmhouse kind of thing in my house. But John was talking about taking it somewhere and having it stripped and then finished so that it would just be natural wood, or, you know, tinted, stained. So it would just be brown, and then I think that might be pretty. Do that, and then put, like, maybe get red checkered like seat cushion for it. Yeah, so I think that's probably something that we'll do. And then the other thing I'm getting from her, I'm so excited about this. She called the other day and she said, you know what, you've always loved this thing, and I don't even notice it in the house anymore, and so you should just have it. Well, it's a spinning wheel. They inherited it after my grandmother died, my grandmother on my dad's side. They inherited this thing, and it actually was missing a piece, and my dad, who's a woodworker, did some research to figure out what it was that was missing from this hole that was in one part of the wheel, and he discovered what it was, and he built the piece. And so it doesn't match perfectly, but it at least finishes the spinning wheel, and actually I believe makes it usable. And I've always thought, wouldn't that be neat, not only to have it because I think it's a cool antique piece, but also to learn how to spin. I mean, I'm a knitter. So my mom just said, you should just have it. So I'm having it. So that's why I've got the truck, because I'm going to take both of these home today. The reason I'm pressed for time on this is that, because normally I would just say, I'll just come up a little later, I'll meet my mom for lunch and not breakfast, but we are in monsoon season, and Flagstaff gets monsoon rains every day too, and so I do not want these things to get soaked by rain. They're both antique things, and so I have a tarp just in case, and I have some ropes and bungees and things like that. That's it. Oh, this is really interesting. I was talking to my next door neighbor yesterday, and he made a comment about his garden. As I said, oh, look at my garden, it's so overgrown. He said, yeah, mine's done. I looked over, he's ripped everything out except, well, his peppers. He has his peppers going, and he has a few tomatoes, and that's it. They ripped out their zucchini. They were only growing, I don't know what else they were growing besides. They were growing onions and potatoes, and those kind of come to their end, you know, when they're done. And I don't think they were growing any other squash besides that one zucchini plant, but they got rid of the zucchini, so I guess they had as much as they wanted. So kind of makes me think that, you know, I don't know, like my tomatoes, I'm sort of getting sick of them. I'm not ripping out any tomato plant that's actively producing at this point, but I definitely am getting to the point where I'm like, how much more of this can I, you know, how much more of this do I really need? So now, my pumpkins, my butternut squash, my spaghetti squash, those things are still growing and they need more time to actually be finished, and so I'm letting those grow. I don't feel like I've gotten as many cucumbers as I would like to have. I think I definitely want to make some dill pickles. I've made bread and butter, but I haven't made dill, so I want to do that. I'm in downtown Flagstaff right now, walking through an alley. Alleys are a thing around here. They actually like decorate them. Look, see that mural on that front of the building? Anyway, just helped my mom drop off a picture at the gallery for her wall, and now I'm gonna go and hunt mushrooms. Hi guys, it's Thursday morning. I look terrible. I'm all red and sweaty. Came out here to water my garden because we haven't gotten rain for a couple of days, and now I'm hearing thunder. But that's fine because the cucumbers, some of my cucumbers were kind of misshapen, skinny in some places, fat in others, and it means that there's inconsistent watering, so I figured I better just go ahead and give everything a drink instead of waiting like I have been the last few days and not getting enough to really water. Well, then I decided to go, since I was already sweaty, I decided to go ahead and go at my tomato jungle. My whole garden is a jungle, but let me show you what I trimmed off, hacked off. All right, so that big pile right there is what I hacked off, and then let me show you what I still have. There's my tomatoes, you hardly can tell. I can tell because I actually was able to find a bunch of tomatoes that I would normally have harvested and didn't know were there. I need to go pick these up. I dumped them all right there. But trimmed that one back there. These guys, my squash garden is nuts. I think I might have mentioned that I ripped out one of my zucchinis the other day. I just have see these really, well, there's a lot of leaves in here, but these really gigantic ones are butternut squash, and I have really gigantic butternut squash in here. Well, back there you can see spaghetti squash. Can you see the butternut squash in there? I mean, there's a lot of it. And the crazy thing is that it keeps growing. It keeps growing all over the place. So yesterday I was looking into this area right here and saw a butternut squash, a pumpkin, and a spaghetti squash all growing together as if they were growing on the same vine. Okay, so I'm showered up now. I feel much better. I only have foundation on, so I don't have all my makeup, but I'm gonna wait on that. I'm gonna wait on fixing up my hair because today is our wedding anniversary, 21 years of wedded bliss. Haha. We actually have had a really good marriage, but marriage is never completely easy. So anyway, so we're going out to dinner tonight at a place in Jerome. It's called the Asylum. I believe it used to be an asylum. And anyway, we heard some good things about it. Although I looked online and there's mixed reviews, but people that my husband works with recommended we go there. So that's what we're gonna do. And anyway, so I thought I'd wait and kind of finish getting ready a little bit closer to that time. It's only 1:30 right now. But I do want to show you, I made John's card. I haven't given it to him yet. Let me show it to you. Here it is. I saw something like this, sort of like this online, and it's just buttons. And you know, I don't know, do you guys have a button box? I have a button box. And so I had a whole bunch of light colored buttons, and so made that into a heart and just used a little, this is kind of a little decorative string sort of a thing. I was looking for ribbon, couldn't find any in the color I wanted to use. And then inside, I won't, read you what I wrote to him, but inside I did something, I totaled up how many days it has been since we've been married, and so not together, but married. So that's 7,665 days, and I included that in something that I wrote for him. So there's Jerome's, that little community there on the side of the hill. So here's the hotel. It's the Grand Hotel, and there's the dining area. Look at this view. That's Sedona out there. You can see the red rocks. Pretty amazing. This is the view from our table. Okay, so if you look at this from the view from our table, don't look at the power lines, but that right there, it's the San Francisco Peaks. That's the mountains that are in Flagstaff. So kind of weird that we can see that from here. This is my soup. It's a butternut bisque. Okay, so just to orient you here, this whole thing, this is the Verde Valley, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. And Camp Verde actually keep going, and it's over this way. So we are a bit away. It was about how much of a drive? 40 minutes?
Yes.
To get here?
Yes.
Dinner, my filet mignon. John got a beef tenderloin medallions.
Over spinach linguine.
Pasta, spinach linguine. Mine has mashed potatoes and vegetables. So sweet, they brought us creme brulee. Just in the house. Nice little thing they did for us. It's a great place. Highly recommended. The Asylum in Jerome, Arizona. Hi guys, it's Sunday morning, heading over to church. I wanted to let you guys know that I decided to sign up for a half marathon to do in January. At this point, I'm planning to do it by myself. I haven't been walking, and I really like walking, but the area right immediately around my house isn't the best for walking. I mean, I live on a beautiful street, but the neighborhood, like if I'm going to walk 4 miles, I have to go over to this other neighborhood, and that's where they have all those vicious dogs that look like they want to eat me. One of my other neighbors said, oh, they do want to eat you. So, and so it's just not fun or relaxing, and I don't want to go into, like, there's a trail that goes up over this mountain right near our house, and I don't like trail walking. I don't like having to watch to make sure I don't trip, and I do trip when I walk on rough, rugged trails. Also, there are rattlesnakes, and I just want to put on headphones and just walk, but you can't do that. When there are rattlesnakes, you need to not have anything in your ears because you need to listen for the rattle, and I just don't want to do that. So I did find that there's a public parking lot that's about 3 miles away from my house, but if I park my car there, then there's some pretty good paths I can walk on, and so I thought, you know what, I just need to force myself to get back into this, and the best way for me to do that is to sign up for a race, because I paid $79 for this race, and if I paid that money, I am going to do that race, and I will train. So